Startups, and today we're here with Maxim. Hi.
Yeah, hi Sergey, and nice to meet everybody who will listen online. And after that, it's glad to be here. Really.
Yeah. Thanks for joining me today. Actually, Maxim, you are the first person who outreached me, like personally. Not I'm wrote to you, but you said I want to go to talk, and that was because I'm not into these startups right now. And we will talk about them a lot today in DefenseTech, and don't know a lot of things about it, but and I've started following you and reading about your startup. What are you doing? What are you up to here? And yeah, and I've learned from your LinkedIn that you're product manager and all this stuff. So I will ask you questions first about your startup right now and how you went from being a volunteer. I don't know, is it like part of any other organization where or not? We'll talk about this and your personal story, how you became an entrepreneur, because it's always for me interesting how you became from product manager to entrepreneur. And as always, today we talk about it more than before, about full-scale war and how we are living through this. But we always have QR code for everybody who is listening, who are watching. Please donate to our army. We need them. They need us. And we are doing, everybody doing their own of things we can do to help them. So, Maxim, first, I don't know, Max, not Max, maybe not so friends yet. Yeah, the first question will be: tell about Mantis, how it became a thing.
Yeah, it's really interesting story, I think, and I never expected that something like that will happen in my life. So, how it started, basically, right? It started just in months after full invasion war, right? And maybe everybody in Ukraine remembers this time, when you are first it's a shock, after that it's like a frustration, and after that you understand that okay, you need to do something. Yeah, you need to help, you need to be involved, but how? You're IT guy, something like that. And it was some kind of emotional decision to help a government. And I started to think, okay, how can I help? I did data platforms, like product management, analysis of information, data analysis all my life. Okay, it's full invasion war, how I can help? And after that I recognize it's not only a kinetic war, it's also informational war, because you remember from the very beginning of full invasion war, a lot of deep fakes, a lot of propaganda, we will take Kiev for 3 days, and such kind of stuff. And I decided, okay, that's where I can help, right? And we collected a brilliant team of ML specialists, of product management, of QAs, and so on. And we decided to help the government and the media and so on to fight more effectively on informational warfare. And from the beginning, we started to work with the national security of Ukraine to helping them to create a report, to detect narratives, and so on. So it's absolutely started as how I'd say organically, right? It's maybe the best things in life, if they happen this way, right? Just you woke up and decide what to do.
You just were born for that.
Um, yeah, and we just started, and I started really to increase my involvement in informational war. I started to talk with a lot of people who was involved in that. And yeah, and just 1 year we worked as a volunteer initiative, and I parallelly work in another startup as a head of product. And after that, my main startup, when I like got all the money and so on, was like basically how it say, like crashed because of founders conflict, like it's
Yeah.
happened. And like I lost my work, my job, and okay, what to do next? And I like looking around and understand, okay, that's it. So we have a brilliant team, we have a demand on the market, we have a demand from government,
Hmm.
and we have a situation in the world which makes such kind of problematic more serious and serious.
Yeah.
And that's some kind of combination of things that's like impact me to start a startup, to start a transformation from the volunteer
Hmm.
initiative to the startup.
So before you had your like day-to-day work, and Mantis was like consulting more than a product. You were like watching around but not doing product things.
It's always, especially in B2B sector, it's always a very big question
Yeah.
what is really product, right? Because
Yeah.
you remember, for example, like situation with Teranas, like
Oh
when
yeah.
like
Unfortunately, everyone knows.
so in this
No.
case, yes, like also interesting question, like because in B2C you can just create a like mobile app in a few days, publish, and you are ready with the product, but not in B2G and B2B.
Yeah.
You should start from something. And in this case, I cannot say that it was like a fully consulting because we created some part of it's more like a data services, right? Because we
Hmm.
formulated like automatically these reports on Russian infospace. We published them, we improved them, and so on. So it was like some kind of data service and data
Hmm.
services. But yeah, we cannot name it as a platform. Such kind of service. It's more like a data service, but I can name it as a product, basically.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You can sell it, so it's a product,
Yeah.
not a platform. Okay, so you've had like reports, daily, weekly, whatever reports for customers. Let's say this, and then you started to think about, okay, now I need to do what you need, what you thought you need to change to make it a platform.
Yeah, like main questions that I faced initially, it's really interesting uh, to discuss like how basically to transform from volunteer initiative to the product because what's the main problem that mm, like the term of for volunteer project is limited.
Yeah,
From
yeah,
my
yeah.
perspective, it's like it's maximum like 1 year maximum,
Hmm.
right? After that, there is a frustration in the team and so on and so on because uh, you need like. And also, it's interesting story when I talk it with some kind of with international investors and as I ask it, okay, how your initiative was sponsored like first year, and I answered like, well, I just volunteering. They said, okay, you're volunteering, but who sponsors that? Nobody. Like we just volunteering, and they completely do not understand that. It's like absolutely different mentality. That
Yeah.
in Ukraine, especially like in current situation, it's just to stop like your main work and volunteer for 1 year. It's okay, and everybody's like understanding that because like
Hmm.
your country is in fire, right? It's like changing, like shifting of priority, but it's difficult to explain for foreigners, basically.
But that's a we touched a great topic. I want to explore a bit because in mentality, when I don't know, 3-4 years ago, you were like working on a LinkedIn profile, and there is volunteering experience. No, what I do as volunteer, everything that I do for free, no, and 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 it's changed overnight, basically. Um, but for people that I'm talking with from United States, other countries, they like volunteering, church volunteering. They're doing a lot of things like they were born with. They're not working only working. They spend like some time
Especially
doing
sometimes,
volunteering work.
not
Yeah.
the whole time.
No, 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 no. Um, and yeah, and we switched from zero to 100 overnight. And yeah, they were not understanding us 3 years ago.
It's really difficult to explain.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to explain. And after that, it was like pretty complex problem, right? How to transform, but with a freezing of mission, right? Because okay, we can say, okay, it's a good informational war, but we will do like social casino on blockchain and so on, and we will earn money. But it's not a story, right? Because we like born with a clear mission to help organizations and government be more effective in informational war with the help of modern technologies, with the help of AI, with the help of LLM, with the help of other like big data processing and so on, right? And that is frozen, right? We cannot change it. But with this mission, we need to transform like from this like volunteer based initiative to the startup, and that's what we like started to do.
Yeah. And you like you were not alone. You have a team, but basically, and then you went into Brave One. It's the accelerator initiative. It's some kind of community. I don't know how it's properly called. How they've helped you?
So first idea which happened in my mind, it's okay, we should do acceleration, right? Because we have like some kind of MVP, we have a demand of the market, we have a clear problem, we have expertise already, like tech and methodological. Now we need to do the transformation. Like, what can help us? Okay, we need to go to acceleration, and that we started to looking for some acceleration on Ukraine market, right? And like continuously startup Genesis Academy, startup Genesis Academy has been started, and I am really fan of Genesis. I'm really like how they are doing things. They are really doers. I'm really like doers, and I said, okay, we will do like everything to get in this acceleration program, and it was absolutely right decision, because Genesis Startup Academy like helped to us from the different perspective, how to build initial business model, how to prepare like a company for fundraising, because for example, I don't know, like for example for your experience, but I'm like I work at I started as a product manager, after that like senior product manager, head of product, and so on. And the thing that if you take in accordance such kind of track, like career track, what is missing is fundraising, right? If you, for example, from head of product, you are jumping to like CEO of company, and you want to fundraising. And like in this case, Genesis Startup Academy really helped to us a lot of in terms of like preparing a pitch, understanding how to talk with investors, and so on. And as a result of that, we like pitched for the 50 best venture funds from the whole Europe. And after that, I think it was August of this year, Brave One has been started, and like definitely we applied to Brave One. And for Brave One, it's maybe a little bit different story comparing with Genesis Startup Academy, because Genesis Startup Academy is some kind of intensive program which has like a start and finish, right? But Brave One, it's just building a community of DefenseTech startup, and after that, they are growing infrastructure and helping them. For example, we participated together in Ethereum, right? They helped us with the contact with investors. We received like a grant from Brave One. We can ask for some media presence help and so on. So they are doing like a really amazing job in building like a defense tech accelerators community and help them, because, and especially with communication with the government, with the armed force, because it's a really difficult challenge to build some kind of cooperation, for example, in government. But now a lot of things are speed up, right? Because we do not have a time for this bureaucratic process. If a country is in war, we need to speed up all these things, and we need to create some kind of fast track initiatives for the defense startups, to the government, to the army forces, and that is like a job accelerators like Brave One.
So basically, they are bridge between startups and decision makers inside the government.
Especially, but not only that. Also, it's like a help with media, with investors, and so on and so on.
Yeah, but like the specialty, like everyone has their own specialty, and in this case, I know B2G is like the most complicated market of them all. Sometimes I don't know, but
I can name you like one number. Like if you like live in United States,
yeah,
and you're resident of United States, the pass, like minimum pass to government contract is 7 years.
Yeah.
7 years. It's like a minimum pass.
Yeah. But they, and the Brave One could speed up this process.
Yeah, because
a
we
lot.
we do not have a 6 years, you know.
Yeah, we don't. But we're not United States in the other case, because there is a lot of regulation in Ukraine. There are less, but in Ukraine more relationship matters. But we are building them right now. And when I don't know, it was like this February when I started at the 1991 accelerator. There were like started to appear defense tech startups, and in the second batch there were several of them, I think. And there is like, but they were in a different category, like not all between all other types of startups you can imagine, but there is like special track for defense tech startups. But the main interest to me is you're not building products specifically for one government. You're building product right now for any, let's say, organization that could be, like, you first need to do KYC, but at the end, it's not Ukraine specific product. I don't know, Poland could buy it, or any other EU country.
Yeah, for us it's very good because we are not concentrated on government. If we say, for example, about some kind of global corporation, they have the same problem, because like country and global corporations, like it's pretty the same. It can be like different in terms of the interest, in terms of priorities and so on, but they also, like, they have a global presence, and they work on strategic level of communication. In this case, remember, like, situation with the 5G, right? It's also informational impact, which like have in a result destruction of environment for equipment for like millions of dollars. In this case, the good thing for our product is that it can be useful for armed forces, it can be used for national security, and can be used for global corporation, it can be used for media. In this case, in terms of scalability, we like, do not have any limitation here.
Yeah, that's huge, because if I've seen like pitch decks of defense tech startups, they're mostly focused on one country because they're solving the one problem we have. But you can go anywhere, because in infospace, corporations are mostly the same as governments. They need to work on their image.
Yeah.
And their
And
like
the
presence.
interesting things that we talked with some like we have one, like on the beginning we have one like fear of, I would say, that okay, well, what's happened if full invasion war will finish, right? And we talked with one European like big corporation, and they said interesting things. They said we are afraid that war will finish it, because after that, all these informational attacks will be pointed to Europe and to the big corporations, and we are not ready for that, right?
Yeah.
So now they understand, okay, all the attention of these Russian groups and
Mm-hmm.
Russian propaganda is Ukraine, but what's happened after full invasion will be finished. It will be like the focus will be on Europe, because everybody understands that after Ukraine, everything will go Europe, and they need to start some preparation now for that.
So on the one hand, that's, as a business, you need to think about all the risks whenever they are like acceptable for you as a person. It's, I don't know, that's reality of yours, unfortunately, but you need to, yeah. On the other hand, that's a huge opportunity for you as a business, because like, especially in this year, let's say, Europe and UK and the United States started to see how they are impacted by this propaganda. Not only like our media space, like our news, but also their like propaganda machine is working on with their influencers, their media persons, not naming them, and there you can help them a lot, because only you have this experience basically, and you're in the perfect place. Unfortunately, people from Germany now, or not the best example, from France now, can't create best service for this.
Yeah, so it's like it's historically the best technologies like born on the battlefield, right? So it's
unfortunately,
yeah, like unfortunately, but for us as a country, it's an opportunity, because you cannot create something brilliant if you're in comfort zone. Like first advice of any coach, get out.
Get out of the comfort zone. Yeah,
we are now not in the comfort zone. So in this case, yeah, it's a challenge, but from another perspective, it's a big opportunity for Ukrainian IT community to create some like revolutionary technology in Miltech, in dual use, and after that, like spread that around the world. Right? Because
but I still do like that you're not also defense tech, you are also cybersecurity basically, and but on a scale of corporations. Not, I don't know, there are dozens of thousands, I think, startups that are monitoring all the Twitters, Facebooks, and our posts and mentions and all of this. But you like can predict something because you're not only watching them, but you can analyze what's going on.
yeah, so I think there are some kind of trends which combines like this previous year. First of all, you see how informational field became like crazy intensive, right? So in some kind of situation, remember like Prigozhin march, for example, to the Moscow, right? Like situation changed really like every minute. Like you're checking this telegram and you're like, okay, what's next, right? And this happened at like with a lot of people like on daily basis. Now this situation in Israel and Palestine, it's also like situation changed really every minute. The second trend, it's impact of generative AI. Like everybody can generate a deep fake, a video, text, everything in like 3 minutes, right? And spread. And how you can detect, is it true? So is it fake? Also like LLM models, right? It's absolutely different paradigm of analysis of text and so on. From one perspective, it can be used for generation of disinformation, but from another perspective, it can be used for fighting this disinformation.
Yeah, I have read interview with not your co-founder, I think, that only AI can fight AI. Yeah,
That is current situation. Yeah.
yeah. You understand this. I think most of us will not understanding this. Yeah. And yeah, let's move to your personal story as entrepreneur. Um, and you were the product manager and working. I know you have a huge career before starting a startup.
Yeah, it's really interesting because for me it took a lot of years to came to this point when I ready to start a
Yeah.
startup because I started my career in B2B sector on the big corporations like Deutsche Bank and so on. After that, I switched my career from the project manager to product manager, and it's interesting that if we take headcount of the companies that I work, it's really decreases from the start. So first of all, after Deutsche Bank, I started to work in the big startup. After that, smallest. And for example, my last startup before Mantis, it was 10 people or something like that. So in this case, my personal career path is from the great organization like Deutsche Bank with 1,000 of employees to my startup and everything in the middle. Is it right approach? It's a really discussion. It's a really discussion. But for example, what helped me that I understand a lot of stuff how it should work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because how management should work in different sizes of companies. So I have a lot of experience from the proven company which I can now apply from the early stage to the start. In this case, I see some positive things in such kind of approach because
Mm-hmm.
if you start a startup as a student, yeah, you have a lot of energy, emotions, and so on. But from another perspective, you do not understand how a lot of things are working, right?
Yeah.
In this case, it's always pros and cons. From my personal story, it's happened like that. So it was a long way. But yeah, from another perspective, a lot of knowledge is simplifying this path now because I already know how it should work. I have a huge network which I can use. If, for example, I do not know something, I'm just I absolutely immediately understand who should I ask for help.
Yeah.
In this case, yeah, a lot of I think positive things, but yeah, but from another perspective, startup doing a startup, it's so crazy and amazing experiences that I really suggest everybody to try in life because especially if you are working as in product management or in generally in IT. I think it's things that you definitely need to try at least one time per life. It's because it's you cannot compare with anything. It's a really cool thing.
I do have this. I need to later edit it to another to different video because it's 100%. I agree with you. My entrepreneurship journey took at least 10 years for me, and you are saying you need to try at least at once. But and I know that after anyone will try to do their own startup and fail, they will never will go back and they will start another startup.
So, yeah. So
Yeah.
I cannot imagine how you can come back from the startup to any corporate work. Definitely.
Yeah. You've touched interesting thing. I would love to comment about that. You've went from corporations to almost one man company. I think it's not about only your personal way, but how world has changed. because like in 2000 something when you started, there were not a lot of startups, and it was hard to start a startup. Right now we can like start startup overnight. You said you can do any app in 2 days if you know how to promote it. And all this lean startup culture, all of this became a thing because we were from corporations that were ruling the world. They still are, but they are not in this, as we're talking about, information space anymore. All the media like TechCrunch and others more talking about startups than corporations. No one is interested in, like, I know, ExxonMobil. Who is interested in ExxonMobil or Deutsche Telekom? I don't know. No one is. They're still there, yeah. They're still on a government contracts, I think. So yeah, if you want to build a 100-year company, you need to go to BTG. If you will survive, it will be a 100-year company at least.
Yeah, but from another perspective, it's interesting how like government is changing in Ukraine. For example, you can check DIA. Like DIA, it's a really international story. It's an amazing one. And also, I visited, for example, one time national security, and my expectation was or like government things. But when I arrived in this like department, it looked like a cool IT company inside the government, right? And I so enjoyed like communication with them that like I like completely changed my mind. I mean that it's also a problem with how it say a lot of Ukrainian like IT specialists, they work it like the whole life in outsourcing, and they earn a lot of money. But after that, if you remember this pyramid of Maslow, you need something more, right? You need to do something impactful in life in this case. But in outsourcing you cannot do that, but in government you can. And in this case, um, my expectation that with this full invasion war will have a dramatical shift in government. And now a lot of specialists like proud they
Yeah.
work for government and they do some impactful things. Okay, they can earn like not a 5,000 but a little bit less, right? But from another perspective, life it's not only about money, it's also to do some impactful.
Yeah. That's a great idea that people are coming from outsource mostly to government, because it's in some cases more like outsource than a product, because they need to build something sustainable and hire teams to do something they need to do. So they're uh, requesting some. And D and all other services are the great examples how it could be applied right now. I know there are like friend of my Alexander Kasavan, who is founder of MacPo, is like not loving right now some of parts of our government, but we need to improve. Not we can't improve everywhere at once. And now all improvement is where you're working, just because we need to win. Wow. And so basically, Mantis is your first startup, or you had been co-founded before?
Yeah, I can tell it's a really interesting story about my maybe I can say that it's my second startup.
Okay.
So we did some startup in 2017. I think it was a really interesting story in terms of differentiation between Ukrainian market and US market, right? Because we did. Our idea was to collect all data related to weather and ecology, like about like temperature, like index of pollution, and so on. And after that, present it in the beautiful in the beautiful application.
Yeah.
And our team was so romantic in this case, and we like did our romantic pitch that we will save a world. We will collect all the like data related to ecology. We present that in application, And it was enough for Ukrainian market this time, because we won a lot of competitions and so on. And we won to trip to New York for some investment forum. And we were like so excited. Okay, we will go to New York. Now we will close our round and so on. And okay, we did a pitch in New York, a lot of investors and so on. And after that, just one guy came after that and say, "Oh, guys, you have a beautiful app. I need this iOS developer for my project." That was like only result of this trip. And what's the reason, right? The reason that some kind of romantic story was enough for Ukrainian market, but not enough for US market. Because when you came to US market, the first question, where is the money? How I can scale that 10x? What is your business model? And so on. And that was a lesson, like very serious lesson for me. And I understood, okay, that I need to continue to work to startups to understand more. In this case, in Mantis, we started to think about our business model, about like finance model from the beginning, right? And now we still some kind of romantic guys, right? But from another perspective, we understand that company can be alive if it's alive from finance perspective, right? It should be like profitable. It should be like a proper finance plan, proper business model. In this case here, like I will not again repeat my mistakes. So we are thinking about business model from the beginning.
Yeah, that's why you switched from being volunteer into a platform where you could and incorporate it as a company, I think. Yeah, and what's like everyone has their own experience, mistakes, or what things to avoid, and like created a perfect product for a perfect, unfortunately, in the perfect time, but market demands it, and you're here, and your experience in data science or data collection interpretation is so important right now, I think. And you're like, I'm here to do this. And how large is the Mantis right now? 5, I don't know how many people.
So we have 3 founders, which work like a full-time starting this year, and also in team we have about 11 people.
Wow.
But not all the team is working full-time at the moment. So it's like a transition. So we transit. Also, we transit from this volunteer mode. And also a lot of people like willing to help. I really want to say like respect to Ukrainian community, because just after every like a publication or interview and so on, I received like a tens of resumes and CVs, and just with guys, you are doing so cool job, how I can help. And that is really amazing.
From the one side, it's amazing, everyone wants to help, but from the other side, I have seen this in Kola. People are not volunteering. You said Maxim is a year, and people can't work on this for a long period of time. And if you're building a business, it's hard to you to avoid all the risks. You either need to build a conveyor, like replace, or to build something sustainable.
That's what we are doing. I think it's a different things, because from one perspective we are transferring to the company, but from another perspective, like to be some kind of a hub of such kind of initiative. The problem, what kind of problem we have now is this full invasion war, especially in IT technologies, it's a decentralization, right? Comparing with Russia, we are absolutely like better motivated comparing with Russia, but we are like a super decentralized. It means that, for example, if we take informational war, I just understood that like tens of teams did absolutely the same stuff, and they are not communicated between each other.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really problem, because what's the reason? If there is a team, they are doing these things. What's the reason to do absolutely the same thing but in another room? Only reason for that lacking of communication. That's why
Yeah.
like such kind of initiatives like Brave One is hugely important, because we can start to talk. We can start to talk about partnership, because there is a drone team. We can do like a bomb assessment or something like
Yeah.
that. That is like a way for partnership, for cooperation. In this case, we also want to be a hub for such kind of initiatives, and we are ready to help some like young teams which involved in informational work, help with our resources, with our mentorship, and so on and so on. They can join us, or they can work separately. It doesn't matter, but we can provide to them some advices, because we understand the whole landscape in Ukraine, what to do, what, and we can connect them with the people and so on. So in this case, if you are doing something around this topic,
Yeah.
please connect me, and it's definitely interesting to talk and like exchange expertise.
That's too a great for me a great new experience, because competition is always like you need to beat competition, and when you're competing like a volunteer, you're not competing. You need to think about how we could cooperate to make not 2 times more but 3 times more. And that's for example, about a year when we talked about how to improve like for cola fund, we not wanting to compete with other funds, because result is the same. We help in army, but we need to find new ways and new ideas and how to help each other. And that's where, like, for you, the huge volunteering outcomes could be before you've transitioned to business, because yeah, there are dozens of teams who are doing the same in some ways, and you could be align everybody around you or around.
And like from my perspective, the whole IT community should be interested that from this like hard times that we are living now, like some global initiatives will be started, right? Some kind of global companies will be started. I think like everybody interested, because it's additional promotion of Ukraine like abroad. It's also additional possibility to work to solve interesting tasks. Because
Yeah.
I just opened a job site previous year, like 80% is like position about social casino and so on. It's like I don't want such kind of IT market in Ukraine, because we can solve really like interesting task like in informational war or mid-edge or drones and so on. I don't think we should work for social casino.
Especially with this outsourcing mind of many people, not all, but that's especially right now, because outsource community, like the main point of them, like our conversion rate decreased and we need more leads or more closed deals. But basically they need to start, I think, about making their own products, because for me, I've like this year understood that my personal goal in some way is that in some years, like 5 years, any people you will pitch in New York or San Francisco will not think that Ukraine is a country of great developers. It's
Exactly.
a country of a great entrepreneurs. And because basically all the developers are entrepreneurs, they have everything to do this. Just make it happen. Don't sell your time, sell your product.
Yeah, exactly. So nothing to add.
Yeah, but now I need to cut myself. uh, yeah, but that's. I knew we had a lot of in common. I think we will continue to talk a bit after the podcast. Yeah, and go back to our script. And with this, that's always fascinating. Like, you're working on a solving a current problem, but we are talking about all the like half an hour that you have a huge opportunity outside of current situation, not outside what's happening, how you need to monitor all the disinformation in Ukraine. You can monitor everything for corporations, for governments, or large entities. I don't know, maybe huge communities, and of pharmaceuticals companies. Yeah. Do you understand what is like possible market for this? Because it's like the largest market in the world, I think, could be.
Yeah, so like we did some kind of analysis. Now we are like concentrating on like in general like market of using AI for infrastructure space analysis, because we discussed it today that it's impossible to do effectively without using of modern technologies. And like rough estimation for that at about 12 billions in 2030. So it's pretty huge market, and I think it can be like in general like also extended to general risk risk management and risk assessment, because as I said, informational threats, it's just one of the possible risks, right? But we can also monitor like physical risks and so on, especially in current like crazy situation in the world, because like everybody every day something new crazy is here started. So it's you just wake up in the morning and you're reading news and you like don't understand what is next, right? And in such kind of situations it's really important to monitor risks in real time and quickly react to them.
But I thought about another one question. But because you are not on this, like, let's say, huge open market that is everyone knows what's you're doing, your competitors are not easy to understand what they do. I remember a time when no one understood like what Palantir is up to, and right now I think that your competitor in some ways too, because for them it's a huge opportunity to sell themselves to Ukrainian government too.
The problem is that with the big players on this market, that basically they do not work in Ukraine. So why? Because they cannot proceed local context.
Mm-hmm.
For example, like we have a text and we have a Zaluzhny in text. So
Yeah.
Zaluzhny, is it name of the village or it's name of like head of our army force? So it's so with some simple technology you cannot detect and so on. You should solve some complex context tasks, and you should do that with some local context. And imagine if there is some message in Surgic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No one will. I've tried several meeting transcribers, and no one, like a lot of people like me switched to speak Ukrainian, but we are not perfect at it, and we are speaking like something Surzhyk like, and they are not understanding at all these algorithms.
Yeah, so in this case, I know the like real situation when our government like, tried such kind of services like
Yeah.
global players, but they basically do not work. And that's this opportunity like for us, because we are staying here. We understand the local context and we understand how to train model to understand this local context.
Yeah, that's your uncompetitive advantage basically, because when you go to any other language that's not English, and basically most of them are not English, you can, because you have this knowledge, it's not new learning for you. You just need to remodel it or to do something. And while people who developed everything around English, they need to adopt, They need to think about, oh, these languages are so complicated, they're so different. Then okay, yeah, now I get it. Wow. And that was hard for me to think about this question, but I will ask, and you can say it's the top secret. It's okay. But what's your right now, like a story you could tell that you're proud of with the Mantis?
It's in general, it's I think mm, it's a lot of stories. But if general, if we can like summarize it, the first stories that I'm really proud that we build like this initial bridge between the government and IT community, right?
Yeah.
Because, for example, in September we participated in the specific conference with participation of national security and so on, and
Yeah.
we just talk it absolutely openly. They said, for example, okay, we need a technology, but we say, okay, we have a huge IT community in Ukraine. Let's work together.
Yeah.
And in this moment, I was really proud because it's maybe like a first time which like government and IT community like met and speak very openly between each other, right?
Wow.
And like my hope is that it's just a beginning, right? And because a lot like we will involve right more and more IT people in Ukraine just in building this like we can name it as a resilience for the country that, for example, tomorrow we can be sure that such situation with full invasion war will be not happen again. And I can confirm that IT community of Ukraine can do a lot of stuff
Yeah.
here. And we as a Mantis, we want to continue this building this bridge between IT community and the government to improve like our resilience.
Yeah. Wow. That's huge. Yeah. And asking the last question in my script, what's your biggest obstacle right now? What's like limiting you, all your possibilities?
Um, yeah, I think it's interesting time. It's interesting, really interesting times that everything which is happening, it's from one perspective, it's opportunity, but from another perspective, it's obstacle, right? And for example, if we take like current situation with the full invasion from one perspective, right? We have a lot of initiatives, a lot of help, a lot of fast track. For example, as product manager, you can understand me that how complicated is get your audience for the like customer interviews. Now for us, it's like
Yeah.
easy. You just say, I'm from Ukraine. Okay, guys, what can I do for you?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So from one side, but from another side, still a lot of, for example, investors and big like funds assuming Ukraine is a very like risky area
Mm-hmm.
for doing business, for investments, and so on. And what should we do here? We just should like show successful cases.
Yeah.
Example, what this is GIA, that is like another like
Yeah.
project, that is Grammarly, and so on and so on. We need to prove like international audience that like investment in Ukraine is safe because they are investing now in the future like of the world, in the resilience of the world, because like just come back from which we started, like evolutionary technology can be built in battlefield, right? In this
Yeah.
case, just a question of promotion of that abroad of Ukraine.
Yeah. Next time we need to talk with PR Army, Max and Yulia. Yeah. Wow. We have two actually comments. I don't know, can you see them? But one of them is from Max Tkachuk about Max is Max. Yeah, that's my. And the second one is from Dmitry Kokoriev. I think it's pronounced in English, right? Please, hi Maxim, please tell where to look for teammates.
Yeah, I don't fully understand question. Is it like question how to find the teammates or how we looking for teammates? I can answer for the both questions.
Where you found your teammates?
Yes, first of all about Mantis. As I said, our story is pretty organic. It's happened like one, and we already had a team. And now, as I said, after every interview or publication, I have tens of CVs with a willingness to help, and definitely in current situation, it's very easy to find talents and so on. In terms of if Dmitro is asking just how to look for his startup, for teammates and so on. So I propose basically to be involved in community as much as possible, because now we have a lot of like meetups, a lot of trainings, a lot of initiatives from Ukrainian companies, from abroad, and so on. Like just do participate in that, and you always can find some active interpreters here. Connect with them in messengers, and like start to do something brilliant.
Metro is looking for CTO for almost half a year, I think, something like that. So yeah, I do understand that sometimes it's a huge question, especially for startups, when you have not a lot of money and you can spare a lot of equity, and you need to sell like your vision to your potential.
So basically, I heard like one very good sentence that like founder of the startup should like know how to do like two things: to hire and to sell, right?
Which is the same thing, basically.
Which is basically the same. So in this case, yeah. So you should start. You should start to doing that and trying different, like using your networks, chats, communities, just asking and so on. Because like today you're selling your company for your CTO. Tomorrow you will sell your company for investors. Day after tomorrow you will sell your company for potential customers. And in general, like process is like pretty the same.
It's basically all about the value you will give. You will give value to CTO of his living. You give value to investors because they need to make money in 18 months. Often.
Absolutely.
And customers need to solve their problem, and you're solving this with their money that you're paying to your CTO, basically. You need to sell, yeah. The most important skill we're learning right now.
Just one thing. So
yeah, just one.
It's very easy. It's very easy.
yeah. On that huge news for everybody that you need to sell it. That's it. Thanks everybody for listening. I will edit this podcast as a podcast. Thank you, Maxim, for coming and talking. It was like great conversation today.
Yes, Sergey, like thanks for invitation. I think we today like discussed a lot of interesting stuff. I think we can continue like more and more hours, but we need to stop here. Like who is interested in Mantis, like let's connect me in social networks. I will provide more information. And yeah, let's do it, guys. We need to like win this war with the help of IT community.
Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Bye bye.